Judging by the looks on your faces,
I don't think you've understood a word of what I've just said. So let me try again. Bonsoir, je m'appelle Alisha et aujourd'hui je vais parler sur un sujet important. Okay, a few more connections. Let's try one last angle. Good evening. I'm Alisha, and today I'd like to talk about an important topic. Now, I believe I have everyone's attention. Schools boast about the varied selection of languages they have to offer for students to take up, proclaiming they will broaden our career prospects. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting for a moment that they don't. I myself speak 4 languages and I'm learning 3 more in school. But why is it that we have every conceivable form of tool in the market available to connect with each other? We have telephones, computers, social media applications. We seem to be chasing imaginary connections by the likes of Facebook posts and views on Snapchat stories, without considering we haven't actually met any of the people we claim we have connected with. 5% of the world's population is deaf. That is 360 million people that we, you and I, are currently ignoring. We have intelligent buildings and smart household appliances that we can connect with. We can remotely turn lights off in our homes and figure out a way to speak to Google and Siri. But what I can't understand is, how have we forgotten about this fraction of the world? 360 million people with hearing loss, 70 million people with the disability to speak, and roughly 800,000 with both the disability to speak and hear, we have potentially disregarded because we do not know sign language. In actual fact, we all use sign language in our everyday lives. Here's an example. This summer, I went to Turkey with my family, and in Antalya where we went, to our surprise, very few people could understand or speak English. We hired a car with a drive for the day, and he couldn't speak any English at all. And I mean literally not a single word. Every time my parents would try to communicate him, he'd just stare at them blankly. You'd assume he'd know some basic phrases like, where would you like to go? What time should I pick you up? But no, nothing. And now that I look back, I realize that all this time we had been signing with him. When we'd been asking for a restaurant to take us to, we'd do the sign for food. Or what time to pick us up, we'd point to our wrist, that means time. Or just a signpost or a building. They were all signs, and we were all signing to get him to understand what we were saying. I just find it incredible how much we all sign without realizing it on a day-to-day basis. I wanted to show you all a video. I'm not going to say anything about it. I just want to hear your thoughts.
Time stands still, beauty in all she is. I will be brave, I will not let anything take away what's standing in front of me. Every breath, every hour has come to this. One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more. And all along I believe I will find you. Time has brought your heart to me. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more.
Was that not touching? I've seen that video a few times now, and every time I see the look on the groom's face, my heart literally sinks to my stomach. The connection she made with him was heartwarming. And out of all the attendees at the wedding, I'm pretty sure only a handful can communicate with him. And that just shows how a little bit on our part can make a huge difference in the life of someone less fortunate. So I really wanted to teach you all some sign language and how easy it is, and just show you how easy it really, really is. Behind me is the alphabet. It's pretty self-explanatory. There are some letters and those are the signs. You can go ahead and try your names. But I would also like to teach you some everyday phrases starting with good morning. And good morning is good morning. So good, you just do that and you put your hands together. And I like to think of it as the horizon and the sun coming up. So good morning. And then good afternoon, good is the same, and afternoon is the sun right in the sky. And good evening, again, it's very simple, the sun setting. Good evening. And after that, when you meet someone, how are you? It's like McDonald's, turn it upside down, you, how are you? And to reply to that, you'd say, I'm fine. Number 5, in the middle of your chest, I'm fine. What's your name? What, like we all do every day. Your, this is yours. Name, 2 fingers and click them on top of each other. And obviously, if you've just punched someone, you're going to want to say sorry. So, sorry. Please would be the same, but with a palm. And you just go, please. And lastly, you're welcome. As if you're about to take a bow, you're welcome. And that's just how easy it really is. Coming back to the hearing impaired, how many of us have been given the opportunity to learn sign language, or even just contemplated it? I believe that communities should consider a way to ensure that the less fortunate minority have a means of communication with the wider community, who can only speak through sign language. Isn't it important to ensure that everyone is included, that no one feels left out in our community, us as a society? Some of you may be thinking, why do I think this is so important? And this is my thought process. Imagine you're walking down the street. You pause to browse through a shop, perhaps have a conversation with someone. Could you do that if that person you were talking to couldn't hear you? Or could hear you, but couldn't reply? And how would it be received? And how would they think if they realized that you do not know that you aren't deaf or mute, but can communicate? I'll leave that with you to conclude my talk. So, thank you and good evening.